What up? It's Tim here, the Reinvent of the Revolution. Welcome to your daily revolution. Today's topic: how do I find my purpose? Sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. This question was asked from a client, a good friend, a good man, a husband, a father. And he shoots me a message and he says, Satema, hey man, I've been selling cars for a long time. I think he's been doing cars for like maybe 15, 20 years. And he says, I just know that I'm meant to do more than this. And look, this isn't a knock against people who sell cars or people who sell widgets or sell security systems or sell mortgages. This isn't a knock against you. I want you to hear this with some ears so you can get a lesson for you and get something from this so you can have a personal revolution in your life. So he says, how do I find my purpose? Now, I get this. See, I want to take you back to 2003. May of 2003, I finished playing football in the NFL. I was officially done, retired, done. And I'm like, dude, what do I do with my life now? Maybe you've been there before. You know what I'm saying? Like, what do I do now? All I've ever done was school and football. That was all I've done for the past, 15, 16 years of my life. It was football and school. And I was really good at football. And I lifted weights and I did football drills year round and I sucked down protein shakes. Now what? I went through this same phenomenon in 2003. Like, what do I do with my life? I got a Super Bowl ring. I got a college degree. And I don't know how to make a resume. I know nothing about jobs. The only job I'd ever really had was NFL player. That was it. And then I jumped into the mortgage industry. And I did mortgages for about 4 years. And again, at the top of the mortgage career, right, sitting in a big home down in Provo, Utah, 6,000 square feet, 3-car garage, $400,000 worth of vehicles in my garage, S65 AMG, a Range Rover, supercharged, and then an Escalade tricked out with about 30 grand of goodies on there. So I've got 400 grand in my garage of vehicles. I'm sitting in this huge home. We have one child, my goodness, right? 6,000 square feet. I don't know what I was thinking. Everyone was buying big homes. Hey, let's go build a big home and we can afford it. Let's do it. And in 2006 of December, I was in the same spot I was when I finished football. Dude, is this really what I'm supposed to do with my life? Is this really what I'm supposed to do? Is this really the path that I'm on? Really? This is it? And I knew that it wasn't. I knew I had more in me. I knew that God created me to do something more with my life. I just didn't know what that was. Now, the truth is, I had an idea. If I was telling the truth, like the real truth, if I was telling the truth and I was real about what I wanted, the answer would have always been what I say now, which is I want to speak, I want to teach, I want to impact the lives of other people. I want to be a coach, a speaker, a trainer, an author, a game changer, life changer, master of transformation. Now, the only two people I could really see was Tony Robbins and Stephen R. Covey, who wrote 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Now, yeah, they were like Zig Ziglars. My dad grew up on Zig, so he would always tell us these stories about see you at the top. Brian Tracy, Grant Cardone wasn't that big yet, at least, 15 years ago. He still wasn't who he is today. And that was the truth. And it took for me to lose everything in the mortgage industry to go into the internet marketing space and the network marketing space and then the door-to-door space. Like, I had to go on a journey of reinvention. Now, thankfully, for some of you guys who out there who are succeeding and doing really well, I don't believe that you're going to have to go through what I went through necessarily. My path was my path. So then the real question is how do you find your purpose? And here's the answer, okay? Number one, you do not find your purpose. That's a myth. That's a fallacy. There's no such thing as, I'm going to find my purpose. Like, it's not in a haystack. It's not in a building. It's not buried in the ground. It's not buried deep in the ocean, in the trenches. It's not hidden in some high mountain. You don't find it. Ready? Here's the key. You create your purpose. That's it. You create it. So how do you create your purpose? Principle number 1 in the 13 principles, the truth will set you free. Brother, you've got to ask. When I say brother, I'm talking brother and sister, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, whoever's listening to this. If you've ever had a question about finding your purpose, if you've ever had a question about what's the purpose of my life, if you've ever had the question like, what is this as good as my life is supposed to get? Is this it? Then here we go. Number 1, the truth will set you free. Start telling the truth. Just be real about where you are. Just be real about what you want. Just tell the truth about reality. Where you are, what you want, where you want to be. See, I never would say the truth because it was foolish to me. It was foolishness. Why in the world would I go say I want to be like Tony Robbins when I'm like just this little Polynesian kid in Provo, Utah? Ain't nobody know me. I'm just a Polynesian kid who was born in Missouri, raised in Utah, played college ball at BYU, my NFL ball at the New England Patriots, did some mortgages, and how do I get paid to do this thing? And see, I wasn't as open to possibilities. But the truth is I knew what I wanted. I just didn't want to say it. So you don't find your purpose, you create it. The way you create it, you start to live by these principles. Principle 1 is the truth will set you free. What's the truth? Principle number 2, perspective creates possibilities. Well, what's this perspective about? Perspective is the way that you see from where you see and how you see. Right? It is this viewpoint or this vantage point and the place that you have this vantage point from. So perspective, this ability to see from a different place, a different vantage point, creates possibilities. So what's a possibility? So if you're selling cars right now, right? If you are selling cars or selling mortgages or doing door-to-door, it might be very easy to fall into the trap of, I don't know if I could do anything else. Like it becomes a handcuff, right? The golden handcuffs. This was me knocking doors. A lot of the guys that I know who are knocking doors, so few of them could leave the doors because they could not or they did not know how to make the money outside of the doors that they did on the doors. And when I say that, I'm talking multiple 6 and 7 figures. Yes, knocking doors, recruiting teams, doing security systems, and recruiting and teaching and leading teams. And if you're in mortgages, I just coached someone who came through my Shieldman program, and she said, I just don't know what else to do with my life. I'm 49. How do I go do something else that I can make this kind of money? So number 1, you just got to start by telling the truth. Like, be real. Just if you want to do something different, you feel like you have a different purpose, just declare that. Declare it. Say it. Number 2, perspective creates possibilities. How do we get perspective? By doing what you're doing. You start asking people questions. You go into inquiry, as Byron Katie calls it, right? You go to inquire. You ask. And you don't ask from a weak place. You got to really come from a place of power, certainty. Like you're open to every possibility. Possibilities, just things like what was once impossible is now reality. Think about that. What was once impossible, someone had this concept of a possibility of being able to fly, being able to communicate, this thing called the internet, get into space. And the same thing goes with having money, having a marriage that really works. It's incredible. So you create your purpose by telling the truth. You create that purpose by getting this perspective from other people. Just hearing the podcast might spark inside of you a possibility that, hey, it's possible. See, I'll tell you right now, if you are willing to invent yourself, like if you're willing to reinvent yourself and learn new skills, that takes some real power to be 49 or 40 and to be in an industry for 20 years and then to go turn on a dime. What I've done a number of times after football into mortgages, after mortgages into internet and network marketing, after that into the doors, and after that into what I currently do now, which is I coach, speak, and teach, and keynote, and train, and make a difference. But the real question is, are you willing to declare what you want to do? Are you willing to declare into existence your purpose? This doesn't mean you got to quit selling cars right now. In fact, I would say you don't want to quit selling cars. You want to stockpile cash. You want to create that business as much as you can and then work into the new business, whatever that is. I just want you to know this. Like, people are like, how do I find it? You don't. You create it. How? By telling the truth, by using language. The Declaration, no different than the Founding Fathers declared independence and their freedoms from Great Britain. No different than you're going to have to declare a new possibility. I love the power of a declaration. When I said years ago, I'm going to be on the Mount Rushmore of speakers and trainers, I think of a Tony Robbins. I think of a Jim Rohn. Again, these are people in my book. I think of a Zig Ziglar. And I think of Stephen Covey, whose book, 7 Habits, just transformed my life, impacted me. And I want my face on there. Why? Because I want it. Because I want to make a difference for marriages and couples. I want to help liberate people in their lives and in their businesses. I want to show people what's possible. I want to show my kids what's possible. My parents did not cross the ocean. My mom and dad did not come from Samoa to the United States so that I could be a bum. That doesn't sit well with me. So you create your purpose by telling the truth and then creating some perspective, listening to other people, reading books, and being open. And then there's going to come a point in time where we say principle number 4 is clarity is power. You're just going to have to really get clear and declare it. Principle number 5, commitment alters everything. Then you get committed to that thing. And I know without a doubt, like I would bet the house on this thing. If you, my friend, who I'm shooting this podcast for, if you are willing to be honest, I know without a shadow of a doubt, my brother, that you already know what your purpose is. And I'm also clear that you might not know the entire purpose, but you're going to know enough just to get to that place where you'll have some perspective and then you move from that place. It's like benchmarks. Right? When I started this journey, I could not have seen this far. All I saw was go get clients, learn how to coach them, learn how to get them results. Okay, go get clients again, learn how to coach them, get them results. And that's what I did over and over and over again. And as I got more successful and as I created more results, it was like moving on this path, and I got closer and closer to those next benchmarks. And at every place of success, there was a level up. And with every level up, there's a new perspective that allows you to see something different. You're never going to see the very end from where you are. You just have to see far enough. It's like a car at night. Right? When I'm riding in my Benz, I love it, right? The Benz, I turn my wheel right, the lights turn right. It's amazing, right? These active luxury cars. So I'm driving and it's dark and the lights move. And all I need to see is where the lights go. If I happen to brighten my lights, I'm driving and then I can see a little bit farther. But I don't have to know every answer. But for you, my friend, how do you find your purpose? You don't find it, you create it. How do you create it? You tell the truth. You get perspective. You declare what you want and you invent and create that purpose. And the purpose that you have today might change 3 years from now. I know that I won't be doing this forever. I have this feeling that God's going to take me on another path. And I know that. So while I'm playing on this role of coach and teacher and trainer and leading the movement called the Prosperity Revolution and making a difference in tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, ultimately it's going to be millions and millions and millions of lives. I just take it one day at a time. Go create the purpose that I want, because I know 5 years from now, that purpose might shift and change as I shift and change and transform. That's it. So what will you do as a result? Can you start to tell the truth? Can you go get perspective? Will you be open enough to get perspective? Will you declare what it is that you really want and then move, right? Choose and move. Get to that next place that's going to have you see different things that's possible for you. I'm out. And by the way, if you were listening to this and you have not gotten your tickets for Pro Rev Live in Dallas, get your tickets now. Pro Rev Dallas, PROREV DALLAS. That's ProRevDallas.com. Would love to have you be there. It's going to be game-changing and life-altering forever for those in the room. I'm out.
For more info on joining the revolution and living your greatest life of prosperity today, go to www.yourdailyrevolution.com and join us in waking up, turning your brain on, and prospering today.